Well, we have to start doing something. We have to start talking. It's been an interesting game, for sure. Um, mhm. Chelsea won by 3 goals to 1. No problems at all. That's fine. Rico Ampo for joins us. Rico, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, George. How are you?
Yeah, very, very interesting game. I'm fine. We went through the emotions for sure. For those of you who are joining us, we want you to send in your comments right now. We try and share the link around and see if we get all the guys right into it. So I don't know. Before we get into it, before we get into your ratings and everything, um, Rico, just tell me on the face of things, what did you make of the team?
Well, I would say it's a bit difficult to call because Lampard was a bit shortchanged in terms of the players that he had at his disposal, and making any definitive comment about how he started would be a bit harsh because he didn't have the likes of Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech and Thiago Silva, and these are guys that he purposely bought to replace some of these players that started because he felt they were not good enough. So in essence, he still had to go with the team, part of the team that he played in last season, and he had to find a way to, get the points because let's not forget that we're in a very difficult period, and there's COVID, there's been a short summer break, and the players have not been together for long, especially these new signings. So all these factors coming together, but no one cares. At the end of the day, what matters is that you manage to find points on the board, especially in these first difficult games, and then you grow along as a team. I'm sure as Pulisic and Thiago Silva and the likes, Kovacic all come back into the team, things would certainly get better for Chelsea. But very, very, very important 3 points tonight.
I've been monitoring what a number of Chelsea fans have been saying, via our WhatsApp groups, and I'm sure most people are having their discussion before they join us. I understand people are going through the videos and everything, and still people are still glued to their television sets. That's all fine. But the kind of reaction that we have had is all mixed. Some Chelsea fans have picked on certain players who look at the players, who look at the starting lineup, who look at what Lampard was thinking. But generally, what has been your reaction, or what have you made of the Chelsea fans' reaction to everything that's happened?
Well, you can barely please everyone, and
Yeah.
even from the onset, when the starting 11, came out for Chelsea, there were comments as to who should have started and who shouldn't have. But as a football person growing up, I always tend to give the coaches the benefit of the doubt because they work on their tactics day in day out. They spent hours on the training field trying to perfect a sequence that they thought would be right to break down this Brighton side. So perhaps we weren't at the training session, so you wouldn't know why Hudson-Odoi probably started on the bench and Havertz was moved out wide. They probably had a plan, and that's what I usually do. I usually give them the benefit of the doubt that they know what they want to do. But judging by how things did go with how they set up, I thought that at least Hudson-Odoi maybe should have got run out in the team because
Mhm.
personally, for his own confidence sake, if you've brought in two wingers, that's Hakim Ziyech and then Pulisic, who are expected to start in the big games.
Yeah.
When they are not around, at least Hassan-Odoi should be getting a nod in that team. And when he's missing out on these games as well, I just think that it's going to hit his confidence a bit. When he came on, you could clearly see that that wasn't the Hudson-Odoi that we knew from the past. He wasn't really making himself available for the ball and all that. So it's going to be a difficult period for him. And but it's still early days, and this team is only going to get better. Lampard is only going to get to know the boys a lot more. But it was an average debut for Kai Havertz. I think Werner probably showed more promise, but then again, I think that Havertz was also played out of position. So certainly a lot to learn from this game, but it's very important that they did get the 3 points on the day.
Yeah, I've seen some of the messages already coming in. Anthony Tololo says bad performance from the team. Very usual. Yeah, he says bad performance from the team. Charlie, the guys didn't play as he expected them to play. Elom Fiaka also joins us on the line. Elom, how you doing? How you doing this evening?
Very good, George. How are you doing as well?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm great. We'll love it if we can see your video. I'm sure it will be great. We'll be excited if we can see your video.
Yeah,
Let's
I
see.
think my video.
Your video is off though. Okay, so let's see if we can get him on right now. Okay, he's very soon, but he's speaking. But then whilst you try sorting out that, I just wanted to find out what were your initial reactions to everything that Chelsea has done today?
Yeah, George, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you. It's fine. Tell me, what was your reaction? No, I can see you.
Can see, okay.
I can see you. I don't know if Riku can see you, but I can see you at the moment, though. Yeah, I can see you. Okay, yeah. Now I can see Elon. Okay. Elon is good. Yeah, Elon, thank you very much for joining us. Yes,
can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, today's a very average performance from Chelsea. Like I said, you wanted to see the team hit the ground running. But then again, you look at it from the angle of the fact that there are lots of new signings within that team. There's a new mentality. There's a new tactical nuance to the team. So you expect them to gel. I mean, all in all, very average performance. I think we got away with it simply because first goal, an error, second goal, a complete howitzer from Reece James. Third goal as well, a deflection. The midfield was completely non-existent. I mean, I have no idea why Reece James, Ruben Loftus Cheek stayed as long as he did on that pitch. He was completely non-existent, running in 6s and 7s. Absolutely no recovery, creativity absolutely gone. The midfield was a bit more settled, came on. And I believe N'Golo Kante didn't play in his best position. But my biggest conundrum for the night, George, was why one of the best number 10s in the world last season was played out right, on a wide right, in a certain Kai Havertz. I believe he struggled to get a grip of the game. I mean, first game, you don't expect him to pull any trees whatsoever. You expect him to warm up into the team. But you wanted to see him in a number 10 role. And then we saw the glimpses of the kind of quality that Timo Werner is going to bring to this Chelsea team. His industry was absolutely phenomenal. He ran after every ball. His hold-up play was amazing. I'd love to see Timo Werner play with Olivier Giroud acting as a foil. He's been an absolutely fantastic addition to this Chelsea team. But all in all, very, very average performance. I believe the team needs some time to gel. I believe they need to play a lot better if they are to dislodge Liverpool from the top of this league table.
Good point. Messages are coming in right now. So you want to quickly share the link if you've joined us. Thank you very much. You're on the blue stand. And this is how we review our games. So this is how we reviewing the games. And of course, we give you an opportunity to tell us. Later on, we'll check out the fan cam and we'll find out how the Chelsea fans were feeling while they were watching this. But thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Anthony Tolo has made a point here. He says, honestly, losing all patience with Kepa Arrizabalaga, any decent goalkeeper is saving that all day long. Barkley came on and we started having more of the ball. So let's just get into it because I can see that the numbers are increasing. So clearly the guys are coming out of their conversations and coming out of their discussions, and so we can start dealing with some of the serious matters. Let's talk about the tactical approach right now by Frank Lampard. And indeed, we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's the first game of the season. Yeah, so benefit of the doubt. But Kepa Arrizabalaga imposed as his choice. He had no option. Did he have an option?
Well, I didn't think that he had a big option, a big chance to really make any changes in post. And that's because, during the summer break, goalkeeper trainer, that's Peter Cech, he also did mention about the fact that he thinks that Kepa still has it in him and he probably needs one more season. And they've been putting in a lot of work this summer, and hopefully that would reinstill some confidence into the Spaniard goalkeeper. And, if you look long-term, Caballero certainly is not really a long-term option for Chelsea. And so, they've still been in the market looking for a goalkeeper to at least challenge Kepa and keep him on his toes. But I think that with the Kepa case, he's not really helping himself, is he? And you look at the number of the goal conceded for today, and a world-class goalkeeper shouldn't be conceding that. And, it was a shot from outside the box. Trossard, that was even his weak foot. And it was so typical of Kepa, going right under him or either going through him. It just looks as if he's never confident enough to stop these balls. He doesn't stop them with enough conviction and power. And, these shots usually just tend to beat him. You could clearly see the frustration from the players when the ball went in. And, that's my biggest issue. That when you do have players who don't trust their goalkeepers, it always just has a disconnect. And it's so important for, keepers and defenders to be able to trust themselves and, know that this ball going past me would be saved by my goalkeeper. But when you do not have that, it just leaves you more vulnerable to attacks. And, if this is how it's going to be, then Chelsea will probably have to outscore every opponent. And even if it's a 1-goal lead, you're still always going to think that we are not crossing that finishing line with just 1 goal. So we might have to get another goal, which is not a good sign. Hopefully, Mendy coming in would give Kepa the right competition to be able to improve at least this season.
Right. Elon Fiaka, what did you make of Arrizabalaga's performance today? Okay, he's not getting me. Elon Fiaka, are you there? Okay, he didn't get me. I think whilst we try to sort that out, we'll try and get in some of the messages. I'm just trying to pick the feed right now. Quite a number of messages are, definitely coming through. And I'm just thinking, so many. Yes. Okay, I wanted to know what your comments were there. I've seen some comments as well. Danny Great says that not impressed with the midfield tonight. Very average performance. Ebenezer Aduna says, I didn't understand why Cheek stood on the pitch for 60 plus minutes. What was Lampard waiting for? Elon Fiaka, tell me what your assessment of Kepa Arrizabalaga was.
Oh my God. I mean, I've always said and I've always maintained that Kepa is the weak link in the Chelsea team. Now, he had his struggles with a lot of the aerial balls. I mean, we saw him flap one of them that went out for a goal kick. And that goal should not beat any world-class goalkeeper whatsoever, especially not the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. Now, Chelsea, we understand Chelsea are in the market for a certain Edouard Mendy, who is really great in the air, good shot stopper, a little experience. You give a lot more control. I believe Kepa should have used this as a do-or-die audition. I mean, Caballero, who's 39 years old, came in for him last season. 2 crucial games. That game against Wolves and that FA Cup final. They should tell him something that, listen, as my price tag doesn't continue placing this team. But then if he keeps flapping his lines like this, then you give him that goal that beat him today shouldn't have beat any keeper. It wasn't on his blind side. It was at the opposite side of his D, the opposite side of the box, and he should have dived to at least save that ball. I mean, he made one great save, which was a point-blank save. But then again, a keeper of his caliber should not be conceding these kind of goals. Last season, we complained a lot about a bit more solid. Christiansen's reading of the game was absolutely phenomenal, setting very amazing interceptions. But I mean, come on, Kepa didn't cover himself in any glory whatsoever. We could have had this clean sheet. And Oreku talked about Chelsea having to outscore every opponent if Kepa keeps playing like this. And I perfectly agree.
Yeah, you agree. More messages coming up here on YouTube as I'm reading it. And for those of you joining us, I mean, most of you are joining us on YouTube. Let's say good.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
George?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Elon. Continue.
Yes. I perfectly.
Oh yeah. Elon is struggling with that, but I think he's made his point about Kepa Arrizabalaga. So, Oregon Pofo, if you are,
if you have Kepa Arrizabalaga and post for them, but then all in all, like I said,
right. Let me come to you, Moriko. So, if you're Lampard,
today Marcos Alonso had a chance as well to claim at that left position, but then he was absolutely.
Okay, more messages.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think you have made a point about Kepa Arrizabalaga. I was only asking Oreko Ampofo, if you're Lampard, when you finally lay your hands on Edouard Mendy, when you finally lay your hands on Edouard Mendy, are you definitely going to make Kepa your number one then? Or you make Edouard Mendy your number one?
Well, the idea behind the Mendy deal is not necessarily to dispatch Kepa and make him a number 2 goalkeeper. Is the chance to let Kepa know that he has a competent goalkeeper who is also relatively young and could be Chelsea's long-term goalkeeper. So that would essentially push Kepa more, because that then he would know that long-term Chelsea goalkeeper could be Mendy and long-term Chelsea goalkeeper could be him. I think realistically with Caballero, you just always have the feeling that with age, playing to the folds here, then he might have the advantage because he is younger and he might be trusted more because he probably would be the future of Chelsea's goalkeeping. But with Mendy, he would have a good enough backup goalkeeper who might get some cup games. And then if he starts to perform well there, Kepa might start to feel the heat in terms of starting games. It's almost similar to that case between De Gea and Henderson, where we know that De Gea would be the number one, but one more mistake and a good performance by Henderson in a cup game, and we could see an automatic switch.
More messages. Let's see what we've got. Sammy K is watching and he says that happy for the win, but not an impressive performance for the team. I think we all agree that that's the situation. Joanna Bruce says, I kept saying that Kepa was our main problem, but people didn't agree with me. We've had more than enough. Kepa is not good anymore, so you want to get Kepa out of the team. That's another point that she's making. Joanna Bruce again says, stop making excuses for Kepa. Always he needs to be benched. Simple as that. So clearly some Chelsea fans are getting very, very, very angry with what Kepa has done today. Well, that's interesting. It's amazing though. It was a 3-1 win, yeah. But that goal was something. It was really something if you were watching, and I can imagine. Rick, I'm just looking at the WhatsApp groups, and it's amazing how people are having a go at each other. Others flaring up, others are leaving the group and stuff. It's that sort of thing. We should rather get ourselves encouraged that it's going to be a long season, and this only Brighton. There's Liverpool to come on Sunday. We'll talk about that shortly. But let's get into the defensive lineup of Chelsea then. So Zuma, Christensen, yes, Marcus Alonso, and Reece James. Let's start with a defensive partnership with Zuma and Christensen. What did you make of it, Riku?
I think long-term, this ideally would be the best partnership for Chelsea. I just think that they really complement each other well. Zuma is your type of defender who would go into the tackles. Christensen reads the game better and he's more composed, passes the ball better. I think that based on tonight's performance, despite Zuma scoring his first Chelsea goal in 5 years, I still think that defensive-wise, Christensen was a much better defender. He was well-positioned, very well-composed on the ball, and he read the game intelligently. And he prevented Maupay, who is Brighton's top scorer, from really having a sniff at goal today. So I think for both defenders, at the back of their head, they knew that they were having their form of audition, because there is one spot already reserved for Thiago Silva, who should be ready by next week. And so it's a matter of who's going to partner, the seasoned Brazilian throughout the season. And with Rudiger and Tomori probably not starting, that rules them out. And so Lampard will probably be looking at today's game and be looking at the profile of the type of defender that Thiago Silva is, and would be looking for the best person to complement him. But I think for Alonso, he didn't do himself any favors. He already had a replacement that he's been signed in Chilwell, and unfortunately tonight's performance doesn't change Frank Lampard's mind. And once Chilwell is fit, he would slot straight into the starting 11. Where I think Lampard might have a bit of headache is Aspilicueta and Reece James, because you do have, on one end you have a very experienced player who's your captain, and then on the other you have a very young player who has loads of potential and showed it today. And so it would be up to Frank Lampard to choose who he's going to start with. But whoever is going to sit on the bench due to that decision certainly would not be happy with that.
Well, I don't know if you're still with us. Elon Piaka, are you still with us? Are you there? Can you hear us, Elon?
Yeah, I'm still here, George.
Okay, you have to.
George, can you hear me?
Okay, we still have to try and sort out that. We can hear you, but let's try and sort that
George, I'm
and
still
make
here.
sure it's clear. Okay, beautiful. Let's do more of your messages. So once you're joining us, yes, I can see you. Good. Once you're joining us, guys, you can send us your messages. Let me go through them as we go now. This coming in from Emmanuel Alale. He says 3 goals, 3 points, 3 different scorers. I pray and hope by Sunday the team will improve and be much better. Very important point there. Sammy K says the Christensen is good, but he's inconsistent. I hope there will be much competition in every position for the team to improve. Elon Fiaka, let's pick your thoughts then on the defensive setup, and you may want to touch on the central defense of Zuma and Christensen.
Yeah, George.
Yes, go ahead. Well,
okay, yeah, that's Chelsea. Yeah, can you hear me? Is it clear?
Go ahead, Elon. Okay, clearly there's a bit of struggle on his line. We'll try and get him
Yeah,
on.
George, can you hear me?
It's better. Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So like I was saying, today, defense-wise, Chelsea I think they were amazing. Oku talked about a long-term partner for Thiago's Chelsea team. He was bringing a certain level of sanity. This is a player who is highly experienced. He's been there, seen it, done that. And we have a team that has a lot of very young defenders who I believe have a lot of potential but need a lot of guidance. So Oreku talked about Tomori and Rudiger, who a lot of Chelsea fans were excited not to see in the starting lineup today. And we've got Zuma.
Okay. All right. Let me do more messages as we stand there. Amos Mohammed has sent us a message right now. He says that it was an impressive game, though the match needed 3 points was secured. I hope we have learned some lessons, so we move up. Chelsea, the blue stand. Gerarda Bruce says exactly that's Liverpool on Sunday, or there's Liverpool on Sunday, and is actually is this what we're taking to face them? That's a question you're asking, Bruce. Lampard, you are warned. We can't have the same defensive problems this season. Now, Joseph Yabuapo says Kai Havertz lacks confidence. We'll get to Kai Havertz, but whilst we try to sort it out, I'll also be doing this. We'll in the tail end of the show or of our little review, we'll give you an opportunity to get on Zoom and tell us what you think. We'll make that possible. Now, let's do this right now. So then for Reece James, what was your marking for Reece James and today in the game?
I think he was arguably one of Chelsea's best players, and if there was any player to get an 8 over 10, it would be him. I think that defensively he was good, and although he did not really have a lot of cover from Kai Havertz, I think that 1v1 he did keep Sulimarch quiet most parts of the game, and going forward he also contributed with a brilliant goal and an assist, and so he's really up there in terms of the best players for Chelsea team.
Okay, beautiful. That's it. Marcus Alonso, I thought we made the point about it. Now let's talk about the two. Lampard started with White up there in front of the defense, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. What did you make of the two?
I think the first half, both midfielders probably struggled a bit. Brighton moved the ball quickly, and because of that 5-man midfield that they had to face, I think that, with the number 10 not dropping in enough to support them, they were a bit outplayed in that center of the field, especially in the first half when Chelsea struggled with that midfield battle, thereby allowing Brighton to control the game better. And so I think that Kante he grew into the game as time wore on. Jorginho, but his penalty, I thought he was a bit rusty and a bit careless on the ball. And so it wasn't a particularly good day for Chelsea's midfield men, because if it was, I would think that they should probably be controlling this game against the Brighton side.
Well, yeah, and so there are clearly improvements for the likes of Jorginho and Kante. Now, I put a question up on our Facebook page, and I've just wanted to find out from Chelsea fans what were the positives of today's game. Because this is the blue stand, we're not going to be all negative, and you have to get used to it. We'll hit the team as much as we can, but of course, it's the team. And so we'll have to try as much as possible to see how we can encourage ourselves going into the rest of the season. And I promise at the tail end of this, we'll also make the Zoom link available so that you can join us on Zoom and tell us what you think. It's all fine. Right. Yeah, are you stable now? Okay, Elon, I think you're stable. Okay, go ahead, Elon.
Yeah. You know, I went to the local branch of Stamford Bridge to go and watch the game with some of the fans. So
Okay.
I had to, I went to the local branch of Stamford Bridge. It was absolutely epic. You talk
Yeah.
about bringing a fan camp
Yes, a fan
to
camp.
the
Yes.
squad. So I'm
Yeah.
still at the local branch. I'm actually sitting in my car. Everybody can see.
Oh,
At
yeah,
the
yeah,
local
yeah.
branch.
Yeah.
I do next time when I get on Zoom, all the fans will be all around, and we get a chance to see. But today it was a cocktail of emotions, George. I mean, people were screaming and throwing the. No, we are not going to play like Barcelona just yet. Not the
Yeah.
Barcelona that played against Bayern Munich, but the Barcelona
Yeah.
we saw in the past. But they should. I mean, it's about that team gelling, and it's a matter of time. I mean, Chelsea fans should take it easy. It is a matter of time. Brand new team, very young team, a team that's yet to completely have a unique connection. And I believe once this team gels, arguably one of the best teams in Europe. I mean, and Oreko made a very interesting point about Marcos Alonso. Marcos Alonso was turned inside out, upside down by a Tariq Lamptey who seemed like he wanted to prove a point to Lampard. He was playing today as if he wanted to say, Lampard, why did you sell me for £6 million?
Mm.
I should have stayed. But all in all, I mean, he covered himself in no glory at all. And Chilwell will probably be sitting at home, eating popcorn, crossing his legs and saying, wow, there's no competition whatsoever. I'm walking straight into this team. And that midfield role is a very important one to deal with.
Yeah.
Jorginho today playing as the anchor man was very, very, very lackluster. A lot of people didn't notice, simply because N'Golo Kante was playing like three men today, coming across and doing all the blocks. And Ruben Loftus Cheek, I believe, looking at the kind of competition within this team, when you get chances like these, you grab them with both hands. And he was absolutely woeful. For me, I wonder why he came back on in the second half. We expected to see changes. I mean, even if we had Billy Gilmore on the bench, I believe you'd have done a better job than Ruben Loftus Cheek. But all in all, we need to put some steel into that midfield. I mean, today the absence of Kovacic was felt, and it was felt very, very, very greatly. Once we get Kovacic into that team, we get Christian Pulisic into that team, we get Hakim Ziyech into that team. Trust me, this Chelsea team will be one to reckon with. But now, 3 goals, 3 points, first game of the season. And sometimes you don't need to play very pretty to win. Most important thing, George, at this moment in time, is the 3 points that we've walked away with.
3-1, Chelsea winning. Now time to talk about the new signings. Oreko Ampofo, I'm sure there were a lot of eyes on him. What was he going to do today? Kai Havertz got onto the pitch. What did you make of his debut there? I mean, Oreko, Kai Havertz.
I mean, it's gonna be a very unrealistic expectations if you do expect a young player who just started playing professional football a couple of years ago to jump straight from the Bundesliga to the Premier League without any sufficient amount of game practice with this new team, any form of chemistry, to come and work under a particularly young team and a young manager, and all of a sudden just blow up in his first game. But unfortunately, that's the unrealistic environment that a lot of football fans are sitting in right now. Despite his high price tag, I think that absolutely no one believes that he was bought to deliver right on the spot. He's not a Paul Pogba that you bought in knowing that he's a world beater that is gonna just jump straight into any team that way and then would settle and just go off. The money paid is probably for his future contribution and what he would grow into become, more or less like a buying potential. And I think that's what Chelsea fans have to understand, that there is quality in there. But certainly it's going to take time for him and Lampard to understand how to bring the best out of each other. Today, I don't think that he enjoyed playing out on the wide row and would probably love to play in the middle. And another issue is that, when you're playing as a number 10, you need a type of understanding with your striker. And that is only going to grow with game time. So it's not magic. This is football. The only way you get better in your new team is when you play more. So he probably needs more time, and he needs more training sessions with these guys. I think that he's a fantastic player. I've seen him play at Bayer Leverkusen, and he's going to excel. He's a different breed of player. He has the right tools and he has the right environment. He's in the best team for him to grow. And I think that the fans have to stay positive and support him. I think that in Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, there is something special that could possibly explode in there.
Right. Let me give you the take because quickly I don't want us to do more than we've already done something 2 minutes. I want us to be very quickly and very quick with this one as we just wrap it up. Let me come to you, Elom. Elom, you have to talk about Timo Werner. What did you make of Timo Werner? We've seen him already in some friendlies. Yes, I haven't had his proper debut today with Chelsea, but Timo Werner was on. Did you see were there any positives from Werner?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw some glimpses of quality from Timo Werner. I mean, we also saw his ranting behind. We also the fact that he has that pace that you want from a Chelsea striker. And most importantly, his link up play was amazing. I mean, he's not your biggest player. He's not your Olivier Giroud. A lot of cutting into this Chelsea back line. And we had to see him play in a system where he has the big man, small man striker, two on top, etc. But today he performed creditably. I mean, on the debut, you don't expect him, like I said earlier, to pull any trees whatsoever. But he was very creditable. We've seen Timo Werner.
We lost Elom Fiaka again. Okay, looks like we have lost Elom Fiaka. Hello, are you still there? Can you hear us?
We've seen a lot of very, very great centre forward play from a player of his quality. But when you have a player that can skin defenders in and out, a player that can drift to the left and drift to the right, a player that has a shot on him, a player that can find small pockets of space, they know you have a real deal in a striker, and take short glimpses of that. There's only first game. We're already talking about the fact that they need a lot more training sessions. So Ben is the best Chelsea players you'd ever see. Once he gets into his stride and once he has the understanding with Kai Havertz, with Hakim Ziyech still yet to come into this team, and Christian Pulisic yet to come into this team, this front line is looking like a very scary one if they are able to click. But all in all, Timo Werner, fantastic start to Premier League life. He looked lively. He looked able to cope with defenders. He beat defenders. He got shots away. He's very cheeky. He knows where to be at the right time. His positioning was excellent. I'm not heaping too many praises upon him, but per what we've seen, per what every Chelsea fan saw today, per the glimpses we've seen, we believe that once he sets his foot on the ground in this Chelsea team, he would be a very, very fearsome striker, George.
All right, good. That's Timo Werner. It's Kai Havertz. Okay, well, so then we're looking forward to it. But just a word for Ross Barkley. And how much of a light was he in this game? Rick Wapopo.
Who, Barkley?
Yes, Ross Barkley.
I think that a lot of Chelsea fans probably are not willing to give him a chance, and that's because of the experiences that he's had. But I do believe that he's still a key member of this team. And we saw the Barkley at Everton, and he does have something special within him. And it's always good to have a good squad, not just a good starting 11. And you could clearly see that when he came on, he offered way more than Loftus Cheek did. And Barkley was willing to show for the ball, and he did put his feet in the game and tried to control the game a bit, and was driving forward. I think that he did probably contribute to the game way more than Loftus Cheek did, and that just shows that that's the type of competition that you need. When one player is not performing well on the day, you need to have someone also capable on the bench to be able to come on and do better, and that's what Barkley did. And I think that that's going to be a little bit of a warning to every Chelsea player out there that no one's position is guaranteed. Once you are playing badly, you're going to be sapped off, and that could in itself be a positive for the team, as it would then push the players to do better when they're playing on the field.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, guys, the point that they have made is, look, a lot of people are still complaining and talking, on Facebook. It's fine. I was just going to read very shortly what we've got in terms of the Facebook messages that we put out there, because we're asking for positives. But guys, just your final words before we go. We've just hit our 30-minute mark. So, and we promise to keep this very short as always, just 30 minutes, and then we are off. So let me come to you, Elom Fiaka. What will be your words, the final words, as the team prepare to face Liverpool soon?
Final words. Well, against Liverpool, we need a much more lifted performance. We need these players to be at their A game. But all Chelsea fans all across the world watching us right about now, take it easy. Team is gelling. Very, very young team.
Yeah, of course, you were not expecting the team to come up and
Great
do
potential.
wonders. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
more.
Yes,
There's a lot more to come from this Chelsea team.
right.
Great potential, but then again, let's stick behind the team. I believe Lampard knows what he's doing. Let's not be too hard. Let's not completely skyrocket our expectations. But most importantly, there's something special coming up from this Chelsea team. So onward and forward, blue is the color, Chelsea is the team, and we look forward to that Liverpool game, George.
All right, thank you very much, Alan Fiaka. Just a final words from you, Rick Wampoff as well. Just a game on Sunday. It's Liverpool at 3:30. It should be a tight one. What do you expect from the team, and what do you want the team to do going forward? Looking at that.
I think if you look at Liverpool's strength last season, one of the teams that out of all the teams that lost to Liverpool, one of them are probably the most competent and the one that gave Liverpool the most headache. I should think would be Chelsea, because you remember, they lost 2-1 at the Bridge last season, where Mason Mount missed a very big chance in the end, and it could have, ended in a tie. And when Liverpool had already won the league, they ended up, facing Chelsea, and also Chelsea had to come from behind and almost did catch up with Liverpool. So it's always a tight one when these two teams meet. And I think that certainly, attitude-wise, this is not the same Chelsea team we're going to see. We're going to see a team more determined, knowing that, look, we made the top four last year. If we're going to close the gap between ourselves and Liverpool, this is the game that we would show it. And I think that Frank Lampard would have the benefit of welcoming so many stars back. Kovacic will be back from suspension. Pulisic should be fit himself. And then Thiago Silva should be training and fit enough to start as well. And I think that it's going to be at least a bigger pool to choose from in terms of the starting 11. So it's going to be a different ball game that I can tell. And it wouldn't be easy for Jurgen Kloppman, who've already showed some weaknesses as well in their first match day. So it just sets us up for a very interesting game to look forward to next week.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Of course, it's good. It's been an interesting day. I think it's an emotional roller coaster, but it's been fine. Thanks for your time. Thank you very much as well, Elon Fiaka. Let's do a few things before we go. I've got some messages to just quickly read through. Joseph Yabwabwa says, Kai Havertz lacks confidence. Wow. So you expect him to back his ideas up. Gypsum Kwaku says, it was a great game overall. Amos Mohammed is saying there are better days ahead. We just need to fix the mistakes game after game with some sort of fighting spirit, then we'll be good. Jacob Adams says, for me, he played well in the second half, and Lampard will turn things around in the next game. That's it. Thank you, guys, everybody who joined us. We're still reading your messages on our Facebook page, the Blue Stars GH. It's always important that you subscribe to this channel. We're looking to bring you more stuff. I think in the coming days, we'll be announcing to you, we've got the fan cam, we've got the Blue Lion review. We've got quite a lot coming up so that you will be updated on all the things that you need, the bridge report and all that. But for now, we'll say a big thank you to you all. 3-1. Chelsea managed to pick all the 3 points, which was very, very important. Rhys James scoring, Jorginho, of course, with that penalty, and Zuma. A very unlikely sort of a goal, but yes, he managed to get the goal when it really mattered. Interesting debuts there for Kai Havertz, yes, and of course for Timo Werner in the English Premier League. Hopefully, when the team is back with the men who were missing, we should do better. It's a game against Liverpool, but before then, you'll be hearing from us from the Blue Star. Thank you very much for your time, everybody, and we'll definitely see you sometime soon. Take care and be good.